Stephan, we are back.
We're back.
Another dinosaur movie has been released. I feel like you're a good person to have on this show because you're a fan of the schlocky dinosaur movies.
Oh, most definitely. The trailer for this one got me. I was like, oh, I want to see this.
Yeah, I gotta say, when I heard the name, I thought it was like a kid's show.
Yeah, it has a dinosaur train kind of vibe.
This is like the follow-up to Dinosaur Train, where they've gotten a hotel now. Not too far off from that like premise there.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Most definitely.
We are talking about the Dinosaur Hotel, which is a new release available now on Amazon. I think it's like $6, which we'll get into whether it's worth $6 or not. But this is the feature debut of one Jack Peter Mundy, written by Shannon Holiday. I didn't peer over here to look at my notes. That's just how I think. So if you think I'm looking at notes, I'm not. Actually, I am. I'm sorry.
I sometimes write things on the inside of my eyelids, so if you see me go like this for a while, that's me getting the knowledge.
That's how you got to do that. So yeah, Dinosaur Hotel. It is what it is. It's a dinosaur hotel.
It is, and for this man's first, feature film, I will say that this is pretty decent.
Okay.
Like weighing things, all things being equal, coming from the world of shorts, going into this heavy CG project.
Yeah.
That's very ambitious as a first, feature film.
Yeah. Well, I have some thoughts about it. We'll unpack it. I'll just say the premise up front, like it said, Dinosaur Hotel is about a game show that is run out of this hotel. You're invited to stay there, and if you survive for 24 hours, you get $1 million or something. I forget the exact amount.
100,000 pounds.
Which has got to be
150 American or something.
Nobody can do that conversion. That's like, I don't know what metric system is. I don't know what any of that shit means. I just nod and say, yep. Now it's a lot of money, and the contestants are unaware of what they're getting into until after they are locked down in this house. All cell phones are stopped because of the signal blocking. You can't drive away or anything, and you have to survive for 24 hours while the Raptors and the T-Rexes hunt you down.
Yes. There's even some flying dinosaurs that don't really do anything.
Some flying. This is very much. Did you see Jurassic Galaxy, by any chance?
I don't think I did.
No, Jurassic Games. Sorry, there's so many of these fucking movies. Jurassic Games.
Yes, this one I think I have seen.
So similar premise.
Yes, I did see
game
that
show with surviving dinosaurs, which was like a distilled down version from the Hunger Games.
But if I remember correctly, they were in like a virtual world during that one, right? So like that one makes a little more sense as to the science behind what's happening and explaining what you're seeing. This one, they kind of just hand wave the fact that these scientists are the most advanced in the world. They have like hovering robots and dinosaurs that they have created somehow, all for the purposes of making these snuff films.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the first things I'd critique this thing for. Like, we can get into all the schlocky nature of it and all that kind of stuff, because you know what you're getting into when you get something like this. And I can forgive effects and stuff like that. But, like, the Jurassic Games was way more clever. That's also a schlocky movie. Definitely has more money. Definitely, it
I really like
better.
that one, actually.
It was very enjoyable for me as well. But the premise there with the virtual reality solves a lot of plot holes that this movie immediately has right from the get-go and never bothers to like even touch. It's just, this is the world in which a T-Rex somehow runs around in England outside of this hotel.
Would you prefer someone address something poorly or not even try at all? Because there's part of me that goes like,
point.
yeah, if you can't explain it, just don't. We never say what year this is. We don't know what TV shows are on. We don't know what's happening. If there was not a COVID sign on one of the doors, I wouldn't know that it was this year. Or maybe it's the future and COVID's come back with a fury. I don't know. I think that it could work.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's just there's so many. Like, they just add up to where it's like, all right, guys.
Well, I think there's a reason there are so many. I think it's because the assets have become so cheap and they're like available through some pack or something. Because there's like, but they do look in certain shots. I won't say blanketly. Some shots, they match the lighting really well and things look pretty good. But other shots that are like right in the same scene I was like, wait, what? Why is that one a completely different lighting? Like you're still using this lighting when it's a different lighting. But like that shot that you just showed, like that, I'm like, okay,
It's not
for
bad,
a
right?
low
Yeah.
budget movie, that's pretty great. There are certain shots where if you caught them offhandedly out of the corner of your eye, you're like, oh, that's like Jurassic Parky. That's pretty good. But then other shots that like, okay, there's no weight to that character, or the way that it attacks somebody, enveloping them whole in their mouth.
Yeah,
But
like
like,
this, like it's out of
yes.
focus because it's supposed to be a shot like that, but then they didn't bother putting the Raptor out of focus, so it's
And
just so
that wouldn't have been
obvious.
hard. Like
No,
it's
it's easy.
weird.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I
weird
don't
choice.
get what happened. And sometimes it's just that it's time. You don't have the time. You only had these people for so long, potentially just a few days,
Sure.
to do all your post effects. And I could get how things could be. You could compete with you trying to make artsy film on set versus what they're gonna do in post and how much time they have allotted. We know how that goes. And for what
Yeah.
this budget must have been and what they ended up producing, I won't fault them for too much of this. It is a schlocky film with a janky concept, but it is fun. There's stuff happening.
There is some fun to this thing. I will fault them for some of this stuff because they did
What do you
do a
got?
bunch. Well, they did a bunch of shorts, and like coming from shorts myself, like you should learn. Like it's okay to be ambitious if you. How do I phrase this? Because like they're ambitious in this movie, and this movie is deadly serious, even though the effects are schlocky. They are worse than Jurassic games. They look like
Oh yeah. Well, it's a lot
assets
less
you
of a budget, I
purchase.
would have to imagine.
Yeah, but they don't recognize the fact that like they're serious, coupled with these really shitty effects, just don't
Well, do you think
work.
they knew what they were going to look like after the fact? Because most of the time, you're handing off to somebody with the intention that it's going to come out a certain way, and maybe they got it back. Because had the tone been what it was and the CG looked amazing, would that have worked for you, or would it still would have been schlocky? So I don't know how much I needed them to lean into that.
I think if the tone was serious, then the effects would have had to been serious, and if it was all going to be serious, then you would have had to fix up all these plot. Like it would have been a different movie.
Yeah,
I th-
the biggest problem for me is always in writing because that's
yeah,
free.
yeah,
And we didn't address that stuff, so I'm not gonna then assume they're gonna fix anything that's visual.
true, true, but. So like Milko Davis is a director who makes very very ambitious movies on a low budget. He made Jurassic Thunder. Now
Hmm.
he has miniature skills, but he also understands what he's making in a way so it's tongue in cheek, and so it's easier to get along for the ride and easier to accept the cheap effects because then they're fun. In
Hmm.
this, it's like these like deadly serious melodramatic moments of like this woman screaming about her child and stuff. She's like attempting
Yeah.
to act, and it just doesn't work because the effects are so shitty. The actors, half of them are very bad. This lady really tried, but like this kid was like looked like he had no idea what was going on in the scene, and it just all ends up being like super amateurishly bad as opposed to charming for me.
I wonder how much of that was affected by the fact that this did get shot during COVID times,
Yeah,
and how many actors they had available to them. Because that's her real kids, right? Those are actually her kids.
probably.
I they look enough alike that I either I just assumed or
Yeah, it's either good
there's
casting.
nowhere to
and-
look up on this. Like there's
Yeah.
not enough information to find. But I didn't even look at the credits to see if their last names are the same. But I assume those are actual kids, and that they were just like, okay, well, you're an actress, you applied, you have kids, and that just worked because there's not enough ability to do casting. They couldn't get an actor child because they couldn't have the parents on set too. Would be my assumption. Like the less people, the better during these COVID moments. But
True.
the casting is a little strange, and they don't really go into detail as to why these people were picked. Like she is in money troubles. Did they just find desperate people? Because it seems like it's like three like Instagram models, a like widowed mother, and someone from the 17th century or something. Like I don't know, that one lady's
Old
outfit is so weird. She's like a ghost.
Yeah, she was out of place. She does look like a ghost, like a
like you expected a really humorous plot point, like at the end, like when they could be like, oh, there's only two of you left too, but she's here, I'm a ghost. Like something funny. If you wanted to really go into the schlock, that's an angle I would have gone, because that's a classic manner of a home. It could
Yeah.
be funny if like, I've been here for so long, let me help you survive the
that would have
dinosaurs.
been. But that would have that would have gone against all their serious.
Yeah, no, for
so,
sure.
So that is my problem. Like, yeah, maybe they were unsure if they could do the effects in when they were filming, but like they do have this location they're able to get.
Yeah, which is a blessing and a curse, I want to say, because it's clearly like a museum house or something, because it has like the no smoking signs. There's like rules written on parts of the walls. So to believe that this is a manor, I would have been like, maybe hang a painting over those, or do something, or for the moment pull the COVID signs off the front door. It just little things like that will pull me off, and they pull me out of a scene, and they don't really cost anything to fix. Like, you know, just a little double-sided tape, put a like, you know, a printout of an old photo.
Yeah, it is a. Yeah, they're probably this is like an Aquarium of the Dead type of thing. It's like, we have this cool location, but we literally can't do anything in it, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no blood being allowed, but still, like, there's production value to this location.
Oh,
it looks
no,
cool.
most definitely. But I think they sell it in a weird way, because like when they walk in, they're like, "Oh my God, this house! Have you seen this house?" But a moment earlier, they saw like a hovering robot. I'd be like, "That's the thing to focus on. What the hell is that? What are we in, a video game? Is this guy gonna show me the next checkpoint?"
Yeah, that the robot is a weird choice. There's just like so many. That's what I'm saying. So many weird choices for like. If you're so low budget, think about what you have available. So you have this location. Why would you try and do a movie that has CGI monsters? Wouldn't you just?
It didn't have to be dinosaurs.
It could have been anything. It could have just been a killer in the house.
It could have been. It could have been the same concept we've seen many times. Like what is it like in You're Next, or
yeah.
The one with Carl from The Walking Dead, what the hell is that one called? With the red balloons and the cameras, whatever. You know, rich people doing a snuff film type of thing. Like that's the that's the idea, the vibe I get from this. And what would work easily is like you go out, and, oh, the batteries are pulled out of the cars. Oh, the cell phones are collected because it's a game, and they find them smashed. Like slowly revealing what you have here, because like you said, you have a great location that you could definitely use for this thing. The same concept would work, bringing them in, and you would lose nothing, because the dinosaurs did not gain you that much except for make me want to watch it via trailer. But once you actually watch an execution, it's not that big of a thing, really.
No. So, and then to also have like this floating orb thing be like a main character, like why is this just not a person? Like this complicates it in ways and schlocks it up when they're not trying to be schlocky. Or at least that's how it comes off.
Well, to have it be a robot means it brutally will enforce the rules, but the rules do seem to change on the fly, because it somehow stops a gun from working. So sorry, you cannot interfere with the game. But then they're fighting. I'm like, well, fighting is interfering with the game. They're gonna hand to death at this moment. So like, if you're not stopping this, what are we to say here? And then you the whole time been like, only one can live, and then 3 of them live. You have 1, and I'm like, wait, what? you're just going against the things you have said. It's a robot. It should have a cold, calculated logic. That's the reason you go with a robot. But then it's like a person going, true love has survived. Like, what?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like, I mean, spoilers, but at like one point.
Oh yeah. Spoilers like a long time ago.
Spoilers, but it's frustrating how like important the rules are when it needs to be, and then how unimportant they are later when it's just convenient to the story. It's just really shoddy writing. Like, it just feels really, really like maybe there's an interesting nugget here. Maybe, but it feels like they wrote this in a week and then they filmed it the next week. You know what I mean?
Probably. Well, I think I looked at this writer's credits. Don't they have like 14 movies a year or something? Like it looked like they were like super prolific. So they're just cracking these out.
Conjuring the Plastic Surgeon's coming out later this year, and I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to that. I'll definitely check that out.
I'm interested to see what this director does in the future, because like if this is your first feature, it can only go up from here. You know, I guess it could go down, but my assumption is that things are going to be better. You're going to learn from different mistakes. I didn't watch any of this man's shorts before, so I don't know if he even has CG in his other things. If this is your first parlay into this, even more impressive. It's something. I did enjoy it, if nothing less to be like, what is going to happen next? Because there's a lot of just ridiculous after ridiculous kind of things happening here.
Well, it's
and that's a thing.
It's a movie without. It's the premise, and then it's just reaction the whole time, reacting to this thing and running around this house. There's no more story to it. There's no more reveal. There's nothing. Like, you get everything up front, and that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which usually is good in like a slasher or something, when you have a bunch of kill sequences to keep you entertained.
Yeah, the kill sequences are kind of undersold though, just because of what they are. Like, never actually interacting with the thing that's happening is never going to make for a really fun.
Like, this is what you get. It's just
It's a lot of this, like, and occasionally there's a fake, burst of blood, but again, I think because of the set, you can't have any practical on. There's no like, whoosh. The most you get is like a raptor drools on like the ghost's face, and I think that's the most interaction you have between two things. Mostly they're like swallowed whole or just killed, kind of unforeseen.
See, if you told me I was allowed to film in this cool hotel for a week and I had a cave or whatever, but you're not allowed to make it dirty and get blood anywhere, I'd make like a ghost movie. Is what I would do.
Well, or you have a garage. You can just do a remote attempt to match a wall and do a splatter in your garage for your close-ups.
Do that too. Yeah.
Deaths don't have to be on location.
No.
You can do a lot of things, especially like knowing, all right, my whole budget is that this location is cool. Let me use that and let me just murder things up close and personal. That's fine. Or it cuts to the dark. I can't tell where I am and someone's head gets spinned around, or just cool things like that. You can do a lot without fucking up a location, but most people will not go that extra mile to build like a 7-foot set in offsite.
Yeah. But this being the guy's first feature, it doesn't, like, I could understand if this was his like 30th feature and he did 7 this year, and this was just doing it, we're getting it done, putting it out, we don't care. This is just let's make some money. But this is like his first feature, so it's hard to tell whether it's like he's really trying to make something good or he's just trying to make something fast.
You could be overwhelmed too with being your first feature.
But, yeah, I mean, but like, look at like this shot is so bad. Like the shot is fine if it was stabilized in any way, but it's just so amateur. Stuff like this runs throughout the movie. You know what I mean? Like the shaking there.
My assumption on those shots are always that, especially because it's a child in the shot, is that it may have taken many frames, and that cameraman's arms are just fucking shot. Because cameras weigh a lot, and it weighs on you, especially towards the end of a shoot. That if you don't have someone else like, dude, take over for this, and I've been that guy on set where like nobody else can hold the stabilizer, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm dying.
Yeah. You also have a few homages to Jurassic Park.
Yes.
This one here, I'll just play it.
Welcome to Dinosaur Hotel. We hope you enjoy your stay with us.
Then there's a kitchen scene with a raptor too. So like
with Lex or what, like Lex trying to get the
this was the shot I was talking about where like they didn't try to match this at all. Like it's brutal. Like, just go in there, take that layer with the raptor, and just turn the blue all the way up if you're going to do anything. But they did nothing to that.
Yeah. How hard is it to blur this model that's already on top of the footage? Like, it's not at all.
No,
I don't.
Yes.
I don't understand that. Like, those choices are what stick out to me as, like...
Sometimes it's like when a shot is far too long, and it's because the director or whatever is like, no, but this took me so long to get, or the scene's so good, and I was like, well, it should only be like 2 seconds, but you're making it like a minute because you like the shot. Maybe it's like, we worked so hard to get digital raptors, I can't blur it. I need people to see my work. I modeled this.
We bought this on the Unity store. No, I don't know. You also have the bad guy who's introduced in purple, always in purple.
Yes. And like he's not looking at like a wall of computer screens, which is what you would need for shots like this. He's looking like out a window in like a purple room. It's weird to say like, oh, subtle flex. There's cameras all over this place. La la la. But then like a lot of our scenes just take place in a room full of metal bunk beds. You're like, wait, what? What is this place? What's happening? What are you doing? This isn't a panic room. What's going on?
His motivations are never really explained. There's some slight twists with characters interacting with him, but it's not till like an hour into like this hour and 17-minute long movie till they like bring the bad guy back into the movie just to have him at the end. So it's like he's wasted.
You could have pulled the whole plot of her being a double crosser and there being a guy running the show like completely out of this, because if you're not explaining like, and we spent millions to make these dinosaurs. How? What does that mean? Like, wouldn't that be worth so much more than whatever money you could get people watching you murder people? How are you controlling them? Why are like you're just in this house? Couldn't you die too?
Yeah, you see that's where we go back to that argument of like the plot holes matter. Well, yeah, they kind of do for motivations at least.
Yeah, they play a siren at one point, and that like calls a dinosaur or something. Yeah. And I'm like, wouldn't that piss off a dinosaur? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. It's weird that they do show 3 types of dinosaurs, but only 2 of them ever do anything. I wonder if they just didn't have it, or it got pulled out of there. There's not a lot of characters here, so like a flaw in horror movies. in general, especially like one like this, is by not having a whole big cast of characters, you can only have so many deaths because you only have so many people. It's like the Jurassic Park 3 problem. Like, what are you supposed to do? And we do introduce like the year prior, like show the last two people to introduce that it's a game. But those, like, one death is off screen. You know, one death is just not impressive. Another one gets swallowed whole by a T-Rex. So like that same thing is done a couple times. There are a few shots of that T-Rex that are fucking amazing though. And I don't even know what they did differently, but it's like these close-up ones where like it feels like every part of its face is on like a different layer because it has some weird look to it. Like the gums and the jaw and like things are moving like in a way where I'm like, oh wow, somebody put a lot of time into this shot. I should have sent you like a time code on that thing with like very interesting look in some of them, and then other ones I'm like, wow, this is just, you know, what you just directly dropped from your modeling thing here. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I think what like if you want to do that, like pull these CGI monsters in, these raptors, okay, use them from like wide shots and blur them, and then make a prop for like close-up shit in the dark.
No one does it anymore, Chris. We all would want it, but it's just the budget's not there. For like some of these things, that would be the full budget of the movie to make a prosthetic. Like, or they can make it themselves and it looks like Velocipaster and you hate it.
Yeah. I mean,
I would rather
in
you
that
not
movie,
make it if it's going to look bad.
I guess.
Unless you're leaning into it hard and it's like a big joke. But this one was definitely leaning more towards the serious than the comedy. So if they were not getting, you know, like a professional creature studio to like make this, it was not going to be good. And I don't even know how much access they have to that in like England. Like, I feel like it's probably twice as expensive there, and not even just because their currency is more, just because there's not as many houses as we have here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe we should have checked out this guy's earlier work. Maybe he's the one who makes these CGI things, and that's why he felt comfortable making a movie full of CGI creatures. I mean, that's
definitely possible.
That's why like Milko Davis does all of his own visual effects, and so he knows what he's capable of doing, and so it works out for him.
I lean towards the idea that he does not do his own effects, and that's the biggest disconnect. Because you're making a movie going, okay, I know I'm going to make a miniature here, I'm going to do this, oh, that's going to be schlocky and amazing, it's going to be fun, oh, I'll make that, oh, I know exactly how I'll do that. And the fact that that money is not part of your budget necessarily because you're doing it, but when you're hiring somebody out, you're definitely like stuck based on their timeline, how much you can afford, how many shots you can put into this movie. And I think that is more likely the scenario here, because this is not something that you felt like someone as their first movie would have sat there and coddled and worked out all these different layers and like done that stuff themselves. Like, if I'm making a movie, I'm going to blur that shot, I'm going to color correct that shot, I'm going to do those things. So if you're just a director, I don't think, but even if you're the editor, you can fix that. I don't know. I don't know. I have no, maybe it's just your thing of like, yep, they're trying to knock it out quick and fast. He's got 10 more coming out this year or whatever the fuck this thing's going to be. Because I don't 100% know. Because if you were like an Aquarium of the Dead thing, like, oh, they couldn't add the water in this scene, I'm like, okay, the director could not go back in and do that himself, but he certainly could have blurred it if the water looked weird.
Yeah, the director didn't edit the movie.
That also makes sense.
This guy Reese Waterfield did all the visual effects, and this is the first movie he did visual effects on.
That makes sense. It all jives and checks with what I'm saying here. It's always weird to me when directors don't edit their own work on the low budget market. I can totally understand that in high budget stuff. But when you're an indie movie, to not be your own editor seems like a mistake, because it's like your kid. No one loves your kid more than you do.
Well, I mean, yeah, we could get into all that, but yeah, I mean, I've heard many times that people say, "Don't edit your own movie." But when you have no money, like, that's what I'm saying is I would not say this for a blockbuster. Right. I'm saying this for a low budget movie, and I know why they say that, because you will spend for fucking ever, doing these things. But you will also, it will be as good as it's going to be. If you pay somebody, they're only working for what they are paid. And if you're a low budget movie, you're not paying them very much. It could end up being like they got $3 an hour to do this movie, and they don't care, because at a certain time there's like, you know what, I'm done with this. The money has it's run dry. I've got nothing. But if you're doing it, you don't make money. You're hoping this builds your career, so you're going to put that time, that effort into something. I hear you.
Just me, maybe, who spent I think 400 hours on my first feature. Just in the editing bullshit part.
I've edited somebody else's feature. It's in the rough cut stage right now, and I've spent over 100 hours on it, but I'm not motivated to really improve it anymore because, one, I'm not really getting paid for it. So yeah, I hear
That's
you.
exactly it, though. You're saying exactly what I'm thinking is happening in this movie here.
So I don't know. So like what we got here is a premise that's not really original, kind of ridiculous in a way that could be fun, but it's so goddamn serious. Matched against really low budget schlocky effects that don't really work, some bad acting, some decent acting, and a really terrible name, unfortunately. So,
I will say the name is actually a bonus. If I see Dinosaur Hotel, I'm like, what is this? And
that's
that
true.
trailer, the trailer sold me. I was 100% on with that trailer. I think whoever cut the trailer did a decent job there. I was like, yes, I want to watch this immediately. I will watch this right now. I think after you mentioned it, I watched it like within that half hour. I was like, yep, I'm gonna watch this right now. And it's worth my time. It's short. What is it, like an hour? Yeah, it was 10 minutes?
Hour and 15 minutes or something.
15 minutes,
I wasn't bored. Honestly, I really wasn't bored, which sounds like a low bar, but it's actually a really high bar for movies like.
Oh yeah. To not walk like, like, oh, hang on, because an hour and 15-minute movie could take you 4 hours if it's bad, because you're finding anything else to do. Oh, let me check my phone. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta do this thing. Yeah, this one I was like, all right, what are we doing here? Okay. Oh, they killed the one I like. All right, let's keep going, see where it goes.
The problem is like the audience for this, people, like if you look at Jurassic games, like this to me looks all right, and if you read comments about this movie, they're like, this is awful, the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. So like,
yeah,
there is such
it has
a
specific audience, because people compare everything to Jurassic World, and I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Like
this has the budget that movie had for like one day of catering, and you're trying to compare these two things. I'll never forget, like when our first feature came out, one person who I knew, who I won't say as a friend, but like it was in the social group, was like, man, you'll be lucky if you make 1/10 of what The Dark Knight made. And I was like, lucky? I'd be king god of earth if I made 1/10 of. Are you kidding me?
I'd be rich.
Yeah, people have no concept. Like they compare everything to blockbusters. Like they don't know. And this has a market. There are people that know that are into schlock and horror films and stuff. And I think this will have a place. I don't think it will necessarily stand the test of time, but I think it will definitely do okay this year, because there's not a ton coming out. So it's got that bonus. If ever you're going to come out with a movie that's not necessarily the best, this is your year. This is the way you could actually get some traction, and this could launch him into his next movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think, if anything, I just hope his next movie kind of revels in the schlock a little bit more. And I don't mean like in a Sharknado way, but just understands what they're making a little bit more. Yeah,
there were some, like, I think, like levels of schlock here. Like when they're in the kitchen and she just like pulls out a bat. I'm like, why was there a bat in the kitchen? What? That's
where you keep it.
Yeah. There's like a World War I rifle behind the, like, the checkout in of like that. I guess it's a hotel. What do you think that is?
It's a Dinosaur Hotel, son. It's a dinosaur.
But like, I mean, what do you think it really is? Is it really a hotel?
I don't know, but it's cool looking, whatever it is.
It looks like where you maybe have like a wedding or something.
Yeah, look at that drone shot. Yeah, I don't know. Oh man. Okay, we
that robot pops in and out of shots when it goes to wide. Sometimes they're talking. I'm like, where did it go? It's not there anymore. What's happening? And it kind of just like shimmers. And I wasn't sure. I'm like, is that the exhaust ports or whatever of it floating, or is it just poorly moving around in the shot?
It's like clearly you have a drone. Why is there not a shot where you're seeing from the CGI ball thing's perspective, and you can add like the electronics over top?
Yeah. Or the dinosaur attack thing, like you'd expect that, like with a crane or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. I think maybe I'm asking too much, but yeah. Dinosaur Hotel. I think we've talked probably too long about the Dinosaur Hotel, but yeah, would you recommend people check this out?
Yeah, if you see that trailer and want to see it, like, it's not too far off from the trailer. Like, I think if you watch that trailer going, oh, yeah, I want to see this, yeah, you're not going to be that disappointed. This is going to be the thing you want to see. If you're a completionist and you must see all the schlock, definitely check this out. If you're a person that has a remote sense of like a bar, I'll say a bar, period. Yeah, no, you're not going to enjoy this. Watch something else. Go watch like Jurassic Park or something.
I think the people who have a bar would not even ever find this movie.
Yeah, so, probably.
If you find this movie, you'll probably want to watch it just because it's something you might be interested in. So, yeah, again, we're really hard on it. And I think because I do see something there potentially for another movie with this crew or whatever, I think could pull off something.
Yeah, I'm left very optimistic.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. So the Dinosaur Hotel, it is out now. You can rent it on Amazon, and if you check it out, let us know what you think down below. Everybody, go to cannibal.video. Check out Cannibal Videos YouTube. Post a new video every Friday. What'd you guys recently cover? I know you had some special guests.
Oh, we just did with Debbie Rashawn. We did The Thing, and then I'm forgetting if something came out after that. Something maybe. Go check. Go check.
Yeah,
it
you
out.
did. What's it
What the hell
called?
did I do last week?
Yeah, I don't know. I commented.
I don't even remember.
How we're fucking old.
The second I finish editing them, I delete. I go on to the next project.
Yeah. Well, go there. Cannibal Video. Look it up on YouTube. Check it out.
This week will be Jurassic. Not Jurassic Park. This week will be Ghostbusters.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Well, Stephan, thank you for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
All right, guys. We will catch you here next time. Goodbye.